Hey, in this video, we're going to take a look at our extended task management features and project management features in the system. To access this, we're going to start off by creating a list. So the system allows you to define a predefined list of steps. So to do that, I'm going to go to Admin, Configuration, Manage To-Do List. I already have several lists in here, but I'm going to create something new. All right. The name is really the only thing that's required. So I'm going to go here and say solar pool heating install. Okay, could be anything. The other information you could use to kind of narrow down which list you want to use. All right, so if I click this little action, I get throw items in here. Okay, so I'm going to turn and say file permit. So this is the name of the task. The order number defines where it fits in the order. You have a default assignee. This is a person when it adds the list into, it automatically assigns it to a person. You have options in here to assign it to the appointment setter or sales rep, but you can then assign it to any user in the system. The other options are activate by default. This basically will start the task as soon as the task list is created. And we have days from start till due. So as soon as the task is marked started, it automatically assigns a due date of 3 days from now. The next one is trigger activation of next task. So if this task is marked as completed, if this flag is turned on, it will automatically start the subsequent task. Okay. So I'm going to create one, and I'm going to create a second one. Pick up permit. Now you could create these lists for different items that you sell. So you know that for each item you sell, you could have the following steps that need to happen. Now in this case, I am not going to leave it active. I am going to turn. I'm going to set the default assignee to myself. Okay. I'm going to click Save. So I've now defined this list. Now there's an option here where you can update the work order automatically when someone marks this task as completed. I'm not going to go into that too much right now, but that is there. All right. Now if I go back to the to-do list forms, there's an option called Set Default. I could click on one of these and say Set Default. Actually, no. I click on that and I can pick what list. So that's my new default. I'll show you how it works in a second. Now you can add 3 or 4 items on this screen. So I'm going to go over to a lead. All right. Brian Smith. Okay. So using this lead, I'm going to move it over to an opportunity or a customer. Now you also have task list on work orders as well. All right. Actually, I guess it. Move over to a customer. I didn't do that. Actually, okay. So I click Save instead of Save and Stay. All right. So basically, this closes it, opens up a new customer with it. Now, I have a task list over here. If I say Add Default, it will add the default group that we just selected. If not, I could click Add. I could pick which one I want to work on. There's my SPH install, and you can see my task. Now you can see that there's a due date. This is because we set one for 3 days from now. Now if I mark this as completed, it automatically can start the next task. And you can see that that's assigned to myself. Now I assigned it to myself for a reason, because we have a dashboard that will show that to you. Now before we get to that, there's an option up here called Add Task. This is to be able to add ad hoc tasks to the system. Let's see. File notice of commencement. Okay. So that automatically puts the task down here. If I click on this, I could say who I'm assigning it to. Now you can have multiple tasks started at the same time. That's fine. So I'm going to click Save. And the list is now here. Now you can have 3 or 4 lists associated with it. Some companies like to put numbers in the front of each task list so they can make sure that there's a sequence. So 1 goes to 2 to 3 to 4. You could also set up workflow to, as soon as one's completed, it automatically puts a second list into the system. Now, if we go back to the dashboard, so off the main menu, click on Dashboard. It shows you all the tasks that are assigned to you. I have 2 tasks that are listed as started. I have 1 that's due. But all of these are assigned to me that I can start working on. Now, you can see that they're attached to different records. So I can click on these and it will update. This will pull up that customer. If I double click on this, it will pull up the task list. So we can keep working on it. Okay. Now there's also, if something's past due, it will appear as red. In this case, you can see the due dates are all blank. If I click on Overall Task Dashboard, this is going to show me for the entire company. So in here, I have 4 items that are past due. Okay. These were due some a few weeks ago, some several months ago. So the manager has access to this, and they can check to make sure that employees are doing what they're supposed to. If they're not, we can follow up and make sure that that gets done. People work better when they have lists that they can follow, and this helps keep track of those items. One final thing is when you edit the user, there's an option to change their default login page. And here I could go and I could pick Task Dashboard. When I do that, when the user signs in, they're dropped to the list of task items that they have to work on, sorted by date due. So everyone should know what they're working on. All right.